Alright guys, I'm back for the gaming news, and let's get into it. So, the Yuzu, the well-known Nintendo emulation software, basically got sued by Nintendo, and now their Yuzu creators will pay Nintendo $2.4 million in damages and in development on Switch emulator, so they lost in the court system. It was an uphill battle. So, game preservation, emulation-wise, is just looking more tenuous. So, open source Switch emulator will cease to exist following settlement. The creator of Yuzu has settled a lawsuit with Nintendo agreeing to pay $2.4 million in damages and shutting down support for the popular open source Switch emulator. New document reveals that Tropic Haze will pay $2.4 million to settle the lawsuit filed last week. Nintendo sued Yuzu's developers in U.S. federal court, alleging that the emulator is primarily designed to circumvent several layers of Switch encryption in order to make it possible to play Nintendo games on devices such as Steam Deck. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, these companies, once they have, like, everything through, like, a service, it's gonna be, like, really hard to crack, get the, software you paid for off the device, because, like, they at the end of the day, they want all this on a, server that they own that you have to pay to be able to access, so they're not going to, emulation is only viable when it's coming from them, apparently from, like, the way things are going right now. But then Nintendo argued that in its filing that Tropic Haze was liable for the, distribution of illegal copies of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is insane on its face, because at the end of the day, they only provide the emulator. They don't provide any ROMs to go with it. Those are kind of just open, like, basically you find all over the internet or something. I don't know. Claiming that it had been pirated up to 1 million times for release. If you want to buy a Switch, you know, buy a copy of Nintendo's Tears of the Kingdom, and you want to rip the ROM right off the freaking cartridge, you can go ahead and do that. I mean, it's your paid copy of the game anyway, and you can't even emulate it. Preserve it the way you want to. And, but at the end of the day, they're not providing the ROMs for these things. They're only providing the emulators. I don't know how they can get away with this in court. It's an uphill battle, so they would have had to pay a lot of money by the end of it. It would have been worth it, to be honest with you, but still. Specifically, the filing claimed that Yuzu's Patreon page allowed its developers to earn $30,000 per month by providing subscribers with daily updates and early access and special unreleased features to the game, games like Tears of the Kingdom. I personally do not use Yuzu, guys, so I have no idea, what Yuzu is doing here. Nintendo may have a case here. Yeah, that may be the reason why Nintendo targeted them. A red flag on Yuzu's side, I guess. There's plenty of other emulation software out there, to be honest with you. If Nintendo wants to sit there with a hammer playing whack-a-mole, they can. I mean, it's not like it's gonna change anything. Some other emulation software will come to replace this at some point anyways. Yuzu is shutting down. In a proposed final judgment and permanent injunction document, the settlement terms will forbid the distribution of Yuzu in all of its forms, while shutting down its website and other services. Citra, a Nintendo 3DS emulator, will also be discontinued. Oh, I used that one. That's bull. As Nintendo previously noted in its legal complaint last week, it's not only wanted monetary damages from the lawsuit, but also wanted to eliminate Yuzu's existence entirely, including taking control of its domain and social media. Wow. Man, they really have it out for them. Yeah, I don't know where the future of game preservation, guys, is going, but it's not good looking at this. Yuzu in its current form will cease to exist, or settlement with Nintendo prohibits any distribution of Yuzu and built-in source code from development must also stop. Yeah. Gaming in the year 2024, guys. Game preservation doesn't exist. Companies want to be able to sell you the same game over and over again, with little to no effort, as if the market's, to be honest with you, doing too good right now anyways. I think people are getting wise to what games are good and what games are bad. I personally avoided buying certain games this year. The new Ubisoft pirate game, Skull and Bones. I avoided that one like the plague, for example. Nintendo's taking its victory lap right now, I guess, with one of the biggest Switch emulators out there right now. Whether you like it or hate it, companies, I don't trust them to, you know, preserve games, so at this point, they haven't, like, earned my trust in that category. They're kind of working against me there, but yeah, anyways, guys. So yeah, Nintendo may have just killed emulation in the year 2024. At least made it a legal gray area going forward, so, you know, made it impossible for any new emulation software to crop up, you know, because they're just gonna go after them anyways later, so who knows? We'll have to see. Game preservation in the year 2024 is looking pretty grim, let's just say that, guys.